Hi everyone, welcome to my first draw with me of the 2025 year. Feel free to grab your sketchbook or whatever you're working on. This will just be kind of a cozy yap session where I draw two of my original characters, Kaido and Thorn. Draw with me's are always my favorite video to both film and edit because I love looking back at the drawing process and also kind of editing things in as I go. The thing is, I was gonna post this back in January. I filmed this back in January. However, that video didn't have a voiceover and it was actually me talking while I was drawing. But when I tell you, it was genuinely so awkward and boring. I was like, wow, nobody is gonna watch this. So I decided to save your ears and just film a voiceover instead. So that's kind of the reason for the delay, but today I wanted to redraw and maybe redesign some of my OC designs. And the person we're gonna start off with is Kaido. I talk about him a lot, but he's one of my first OCs ever and also one of my favorites. He's one of those characters that whenever you mindlessly doodle, you always go back to like that character. So he's kind of my comfort character, but I did want to kind of redesign some parts of him because I felt like his old design was very, I don't know, basic. I don't know, it doesn't represent who I think he is as a character, so I wanted to kind of change that. This video also serves as a catch-up video for me just because I've been away so long, but I genuinely love content creation. It's just, I guess I haven't had the motivation to actually do it, but I really want to try and take the time to kind of like fit content creation into my schedule. I also really want to improve my art and my editing skills, so I think just posting more often would help that. Sometimes I have to put my tripod right in front of me, so it's always really difficult to draw faces on camera. So I ended up doing most of the details and refining off camera just so I could get a better look at it. For this video, I wanted to kind of reintroduce Kaido as a character, like personality wise, but he's pretty extroverted and he likes to keep to himself a lot despite that. So he's kind of an ambivert and he has the power of Y or water in my kind of storyline for these characters. I have two characters with the power of Y, and first is Kaido, and then also there's Yuri, who I talked about in a previous video. So she has the power to control ice, and then Kaido, I guess, has the power to control liquid water. I don't know how else to phrase that, but yeah. Kaido doesn't really like to talk about his feelings, so instead they kind of manifest in his power, which I think is why he's such a powerful user. He's half Indonesian and half Japanese, and a lot of his, like, I guess fighting outfits are based off of Indonesian attire. I just think it's really beautiful, like all like the little details and everything, but I'm trying to also incorporate some Japanese elements in there as well. I'm really excited to kind of like blend the two because I think both styles are really elegant and like intricate, so excited to experiment. He is a Sagittarius and he's very goal oriented and like ambitious, I guess, but he also struggles to kind of again open up. He doesn't really know who he is, so this whole story he's kind of like trying to find more, trying to discover more about himself and his moral compass and everything. And that's also because he's swayed and pretty like he's influenced easily by the people around him. I'm like laughing watching this video back because I'm making like the goofiest hand signs ever in the video, and it's like, what? There's no way what I'm saying requires those hand signs. But yeah, I guess I did the base off camera, or like most of it. I don't know. Wait, he looks good bald. Wait, I should keep it like that. Okay, maybe I should make a bald character. Why did I not think of that? Okay, but I guess I'm adding scars now. He has one that's like kind of on his face, and he has more on his forearms, which I guess I'll kind of explain in a future video possibly. I think here I'm figuring out like, oh, like why does the neck look like that? So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just come back to it later. So I started to draw the hair in, and I made it way too flat at first also because I made the hair touch the scalp, which is never something you want to do. Unless you're drawing like Troy Bolton, do not make the hair touch the scalp. Kind of give it some like volume at the top, so make it start a tiny bit higher than the actual, I guess, forehead area, because if not, it's just gonna look really flat and it might look like their hair is glued to their forehead, and I don't know how many of you actually like want that in your character, so just letting you know now to not do that. I also just love drawing in this art style, like this more like cartoony-esque art style, because I've been experimenting a lot with the realism and trying to get better at realism, but it's always nice to take a break and kind of like go back to my roots, you know. This is who I am. But at this point I was like, wait, this does not look like, this is not what I envisioned. My old design for him had like glasses, and his hair was like kind of like, it's like the similar hairstyle. I don't think the hairstyle changed, but no scar, and he just looked like a very like stock anime guy. I guess this is my slow departure from that because I'm trying to like change some stuff about him, so this is like kind of drastically different, but I do end up making it seem like he's a little bit close to character. I might be the laziest person ever though, because I was like, oh, I wonder how I should color this. So at first I just pulled out all my like the colored pencils I bring to school, right? Like my Crayola, like bottom of the line colors, I don't even have a red in there. I was like, I'll just use a pink. I was like, this is gonna be so fun, and I don't even have to like get up and get better art supplies. So I start coloring with these, right? And then I'm just like, wait, this is not like the style I want to go for. So then I just like wallow in it for a while, and then I end up finally changing back to like normal art supplies. But for the first part, you're gonna see me kind of draw with these Crayola colored pencils. I ended up starting with brown and kind of a dark purple to kind of outline everything, but then I realized that like colored pencils were giving me way too soft of a look than I was going for. I kind of wanted something a little bit more intense, so I opted for like Prismacolors and Ohuhu markers a little bit later down the line. But for now, just, you know, again, see me use these colored pencils. I got really freaked out after I added the purple. I thought I was being like, you know, inventive, like, oh, like, okay, you're using purple in the face, little artist. But I unfortunately stopped trusting the process because I was like, there's no way this is gonna look good even with just colored pencils. It doesn't even really look like him, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll redo this. I definitely want to kind of expand my content a little bit more, so let me know if you have any video recommendations or just anything in general that I could kind of make in these next coming weeks. I want to try and start posting consistently. I swear I say this every video or every time I take a long time to post something, but like, I don't know, I need that motivation, you know. I'm waiting for it to hit, but I think I gotta be disciplined. I did change a lot of his colors though. I feel like colors are one of the most important parts of the character, because like that's really what people are gonna identify your character with. So I went ahead and experimented a little bit like off camera with a bunch of different shades. With Crayola, this is the best I could do, but I wanted to do kind of a muted dark blue color, which was more achievable with alcohol markers just by layering kind of a navy with a darker blue kind of on top of that. But here's where I finally kind of added some marker. I think I did it off camera, and then I guess I filmed in the middle of it, but I'm trying to like add more depth to his skin because it looked really pale before, and also it was just like kind of colorless, so I tried to like add a little bit more shading, a little bit more dimension to his face, and I think that made a big difference. I've also really wanted to start practicing more with light and how that kind of like influences harsher shadows. I think whenever I do light, it's kind of like, it's always softer shadows or it's just natural lighting, so I feel like I need to practice having more like blocky shadows or more intense ones. I debated for a while, but the next character I'm going to be drawing is Thorn, who is another OC that I absolutely love. His design I think came a little bit later, or like his redesign. He looks completely different than what I had originally envisioned for him. He's a little bit of a delinquent. He doesn't care about a lot of things, but he's like super naturally smart, so he doesn't really need to like try in school, even though he does care about it. He kind of looks a little bit like rough around the edges, but he's really sweet once you get to know him. I gave him a little bit of an eyebrow cut because I think it would match his character, and also eyebrow cuts just like look really cool. It's not really a redesign, I just wanted to like try a new look on him because he has a buzz cut, but I haven't really tried to accessorize it with like a beanie before, so I thought I could experiment this time. I feel like guys have to have a certain aura to them to like look good in a buzz cut, and I guess Thorn's one of them. I think it just comes down to like if you have sharp features or not. I think my first design of him that I made, he had like a mohawk and it looked really bad, but when I redesigned him, I was super obsessed with Haikyuu, so I kind of make his character look like the guy with a buzz cut from Haikyuu. I think it's I know his last name is Tanaka, but I don't know his first name. So Thorn is really similar to him if he was a little bit more edgy, a little bit less talkative, but still super caring and protective over those he loves. So he has he has 3 siblings, and he's the oldest out of the 4. So at a young age, they got separated from their mom, and they had to live with their dad for a long time, who was super abusive, but then they ended up running away, and Thorn is kind of had to adopt the role of a dad in this sense because he was the oldest, and he grew up being super aware of his surroundings and super defensive over like what's his. So that's kind of him as a character. I think he's really cool. He has the power of Nezunya, which I think I described as being the power of darkness. It's kind of like on this big like light spectrum, and they kind of get their powers from negative emotions. So I think growing up in such like a difficult environment, he was able to use that for good. But the power is usually associated with villains because they're the people who are more willing to kind of manipulate people. So that's kind of like where he is, but he doesn't really contribute to all of that. I believe he's a Taurus, and he is half Emirati and then half Pakistani. But yeah, now I'm kind of coloring in everything. I wanted to go for a darker color scheme, just like what I did when I colored in Kaido. So I used a lot of like purples and kind of dark colors. I did end up using the Crayolas actually to like shade everything. Thorn's older than Kaido, but they're also like still super close, but I think Kaido's still closer to Thorn's younger brother, so Thistle. But yeah, I'm just adding some harsher shadows now to kind of like make the character come to life a little bit more. I really like the style that I did for Kaido near the end, so I'm trying to mimic that that just with Thorn instead. Just trying to use like those darker browns and everything to kind of bring the piece together. I should have done a full body in retrospect for both of these characters just so you could see their style a bit more, but I guess I can just like kind of describe it to you. Kaido's style is kind of minimalistic streetwear, but I guess Thorn's is also streetwear, but it's more like hype beast core. I don't know, whenever I search up hype beast on Pinterest, it's just a bunch of skinny jeans. His style is more like a baggy version of hype beast, but I think that's just streetwear, so I'm just gonna say it's streetwear. But yeah, I'm just adding the final details with a pen and kind of like a black colored pencil. I really wanted to make that eyebrow cut super apparent, so I went in with a black color just to make it look even sharper. And of course, adding the white highlights. That's just something about me. I love white highlights, can't finish a drawing without them. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I think the footage is almost over, but this is how this little spread came out. I was debating on adding something at the bottom, but I'm not really sure if I will. I had so much fun kind of drawing these two and redesigning them. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!